Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Jinjin's Cosmic. If you didn't happen to be here, perhaps it's time to meet your soul.
Maybe you're hearing these words right now because you're an Aquarius and your life path number is 4. That's not an easy combination to live with. You carry a bold vision for the future, but deep inside, there's a restless discipline whispering, I haven't done enough. I'm not living right. No one's fixing this. So maybe I'm the one who has to. You dream of a fairer world, yet live inside a body that never quite feels worthy of rest. If that feels like you, then welcome to Jinjin's Cosmic, a space where no one asks you to grow big enough to fit the mold. Instead, we gently unravel the armor so you can return home to yourself, an Aquarius who never had to be perfect to be worthy. Part 1, Aquarius Life. Path 4, when the visionary becomes the builder. If you're an Aquarius with life path number 4, then congratulations. You carry one of the most paradoxical yet profoundly powerful combinations in the soul map. Why paradoxical? Because Aquarius is an air sign, free, visionary, meant to fly and think beyond, while the number 4, it's all about foundations, systems, real world, step-by-step execution. In other words, you're the type who dreams of revolution, then immediately opens Excel to map out a budget, a 3-year plan, and a 21-step checklist for how to build it. One of our former Jinjin's Cosmic students, named Lum, a true Aquarius. 4 once said, I always come up with these ideas for alternative education for kids. But every time I sit down and draft a detailed action plan, budget, phases, timeline, and then I get overwhelmed because it's never perfect enough. That's the classic Aquarius 4 paradox. You think like a futurist, but judge like an engineer. When living in alignment, an Aquarius 4 can become a visionary who builds systems grounded in real, sustainable impact. A quiet leader who inspires by showing up, not showing off. A thinker who brings wild ideas down to earth as tangible, working models. In your work life, you're often the one who designs operations for community-driven organizations, builds creative structures for artists and innovators, or you're simply the person the team turns to when the job needs to get done right. In love, you're not the type to write poetry or throw rose petals in the air. You're the kind who notices when your partner's tired, quietly sends their favorite food and texts, eat it while it's still warm. Your love doesn't sparkle, it holds. You love with presence, with consistency, with doing, not just saying. But here's the thing we always remind you at Jinjin's Cosmic. You might be the one who holds up the world for everyone else, but the one who builds castles for others also deserves a place to rest. You don't always have to be the pillar. Sometimes it's okay to just be a park bench and sit down and breathe. To you, the one with Aquarius eyes that see the future, and life path 4 hands that quietly build it, may you stay strong enough to follow your dreams and soft enough to pause when your soul needs a break. If this video speaks to you, leave a comment below for Jinjin's Cosmic. A single heart, a small story, or even a quiet me too helps us create more healing for souls like yours. The universe is never in a rush, and neither are you. You don't have to force yourself to grow faster than you're ready. Part 2, when Aquarius 4 lives in reverse. When a brilliant mind gets trapped inside its own box. You know, when an Aquarius life path 4 goes off balance, they don't explode, they freeze. At Jinjin's Cosmic, I once met a student named Thin, an Aquarius with a 4 life path, working as a tech product manager, brilliant, strategic, deeply logical. But one day he told me, it's not the workload that's draining me. It's the constant voice in my head asking, is this good enough? Is this right? What if it's wrong? How do I fix it? And I never seem to have an answer. That's the shadow side of Aquarius 4 when they start living against their soul's alignment. They think so much, their thoughts start thinking them. They plan so thoroughly, they leave their own feelings behind. They try so hard to do the right thing, they forget to be themselves. You might recognize yourself if you can't start your dream project because conditions aren't perfect yet. You constantly fear making mistakes and carry the weight of everyone's expectations. At work, you perform well but rarely feel joy because your mind's always scanning for what might go wrong. In love, you're thoughtful and responsible, but struggle to truly share your heart. I once joked during a workshop, Aquarius 4 is the type to write a 17-page strategy to confess to their crush, and then never send it, because it didn't feel polished enough. This combo has a strange defense mechanism. When it hurts, it doesn't cry. When it's tired, it doesn't rest. When it's lonely, it writes a 5-year plan to not be lonely anymore. But here's what really helps. Put the clipboard down, close the laptop, and say something simple. Today, I'm not okay. That is the beginning of healing. A small closing wish. If you're an Aquarius 4 who feels like you're stuck inside the spreadsheet of your own life, remember this. Nothing needs to be perfect to begin. The fact that you begin, that's perfect enough. From Jinjin's Cosmic, we're sending you just enough light to feel a little lighter. If this message spoke to you, leave us a note below. And if you're smiling right now because you feel seen, maybe the universe is nudging you. Pause, breathe. You were never meant to live just to be right. You were meant to live to feel alive. Part 3, when Aquarius 4 matures. When control systems wear the mask of kindness. This is the stage where most people think, oh, you've evolved. But truth is, you've just gotten better at disguising it. At Jinjin's Cosmic, I once worked with a client named Dewey, an Aquarius with a 4 life path. Serving as the CEO of an edtech startup, Dewey was meticulous, thoughtful. He spoke in inspiring, well-chosen words. But during one quiet session, he said something that lingered. I know how to make everyone perform better, but lately I feel alone because no one dares to make a mistake around me anymore. When Aquarius 4 matures, the mind stays sharp, but now it's laced with subtle anxiety. You're always right, but others feel suffocated. You don't raise your voice, yet silence from you feels like a loaded message. You don't control, but people feel like they need permission just to be themselves. The danger of this evolved Aquarius 4. You use structure to manage emotions. In work, you build processes down to the last detail, but feedback feels threatening. In love, you love deeply but quietly, judge how your partner expresses their feelings. In life, you know how to handle situations, but not always how to handle feelings. I sometimes tease Aquarius for clients like this. You don't install a GPS tracker on your partner. You just suggest an optimized schedule for their day, and somehow everyone knows there will be consequences if they don't follow it. Sound familiar? The core truth is, yes, you love, but that love is filtered through logic and duty until there's no room left for freedom. But here's something to remember. No one is asking for the perfect version of you. They just want you flawed, frustrated, overwhelmed, and still willing to stay. If you're an Aquarius 4 who's become the ideal version of yourself in hopes no one would ever leave, just remember, what makes people stay isn't your correctness, it's your kindness. From Jin's Cosmic, we're sending you a quiet, spiritual hug to remind you you can let go, you can be wrong, you can feel messy, and you'll still be lovable. If something in this message touched you, leave a comment, a reaction, or even just a deep breath. That's how we know you saw a truth, meant just for you. Part 4, True Transformation, when Aquarius 4 lets go of structure to become a soul that holds others gently. When an Aquarius 4 truly transforms, what they learn isn't how to change, but that it's okay to soften. They begin to realize not every system needs tweaking, not everyone needs a step-by-step improvement plan, and not all logic leads to true listening. At Jin's Cosmic, I once worked with Tuana, a financial advisor and a classic Aquarius 4. She told me something I've never forgotten. I used to help clients with every detail, but then I realized sometimes what they needed wasn't a spreadsheet. They just needed to hear me say, I understand. I've been afraid too. That was the moment she transformed. She stopped being the best planner in the room and became something far more powerful. Someone who made others feel they didn't have to fight alone. A transformed Aquarius 4 becomes someone who no longer insists on being right, but chooses to understand, knows their silence can be medicine, not coldness, doesn't reshape people, but leads by quiet example in work. You stop carrying the whole team on your back. Instead, you start trusting others to rise. You empower, not because you're tired, but because you know growth comes from trying on our own. In love, you don't express affection by doing everything A to Z. You sit down, take their hand, and simply ask, how do you want to be loved today? That one sentence, warmer than 1,000 poetic speeches. The real maturity of Aquarius 4 isn't about how much you do. It's about how much you can stay still in someone's heart without trying to reorganize them from the inside out. You don't have to be the compass for the world. Sometimes, just being a cool stone beneath someone's aching feet is enough to make a life feel deeply grateful. To you, the one with the logic of earth and the soul of wind, may you always be strong enough for others to lean on and soft enough to lean on someone too. If you've made it this far, leave a comment, a heart emoji, or even just a single dot. That's how I'll know you're still here, still healing quietly, still growing in your beautifully Aquarius, beautifully for beautifully you kind of way. See you in the next episode of Jin's Cosmic. There are many more signs, numbers, and soul journeys waiting to be named. If you're an Aquarius with life path, number 4, maybe you've been told you're rigid, dry, or hard to reach. But here's the truth. You're the one quietly repairing the cracked foundations of other people's lives, while no one sees the nights you stayed up late, tweaking plans, questioning yourself, and wondering if your worth lies only in what you can fix. At Jin's Cosmic, we want you to know you don't have to prove anything anymore. You don't need to wait for others to be ready enough to be loved. You just need to pause long enough to see you too are worthy of being loved completely, even in your unfinished form. A final wish for you, you who carry the spirit of a pioneer and the foundation of a builder. May you always trust yourself enough to begin and soften just enough to enjoy the journey you chose. If these words touched you, leave a comment, a heart, or share a piece of your story. Because here at Jin's Cosmic, we don't just want to speak to you, we want to hear you too. The universe is never in a rush, and neither do you have to be anymore. See you in the next video. There are still so many signs, numbers, and soul journeys waiting to unfold.